I'm Katie with Dashing Dish, and today I'm going to show you how to make the most important meal of the day in a really healthy way. So today we're talking about breakfast foods, and I think a lot of times people get really busy and they run out the door and they say, I don't have time for breakfast. But it truly is the most important meal of the day because it breaks the fast that you were on all night. And so it's the best way to fuel your body and give yourself energy to get yourself running out the door and well satisfied and fueled. So today I'm making two recipes. I'm making a giant 1-minute breakfast cookie and a clean eating coffee creamer. I know a lot of people love coffee. I personally love it and I drink it every morning. And a lot of times people say to me, how do I make coffee creamer that's actually healthy and without all of the chemicals and the sugar? So I'll teach you how to do that. But first we'll start with the cookie. And I know what you're thinking, how can a cookie be good for you? But actually it's just as healthy as a bowl of oatmeal. So we're starting out with some oats, and this is what you would use just in a bowl of oatmeal. And this is just a 1-serving cookie, so it's the perfect thing to make just right before you run out the door. So we have a 1/4 cup of old-fashioned oats. And everybody knows oatmeal is good for you, but a lot of times I think people don't really love the taste of oatmeal, so this is a good substitution. And then we have 1 tablespoon of protein powder. Now you could swap that out with some additional oats, just 1 tablespoon of oats. But I added the protein powder because it's a really good idea to get some protein in with your breakfast. And then here we have oat flour. And oat flour is one of my favorite ingredients to use because you can swap out any white or whole wheat flour in a recipe with oat flour. And so oat flour is basically just old-fashioned oats that you grind up into a flour. And you can do that just in your food process or your blender at home and until it reaches the consistency of a flour. And you can replace any flour in any recipe. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of oat flour. And this comes together really quickly in the morning, as you can see. But if you don't have time to even do this few-minute thing, you can always make it the night before and then pop it in the microwave the morning of. And then I'm going to add some important key ingredients for any cookie, which is baking soda and baking powder. I did just a 4th tablespoon of each of those. And then a 4th teaspoon of cinnamon, and this is optional. It's just a good, it makes it taste like an oatmeal cookie. And then just a few teaspoons of stevia. And stevia is a natural sweetener that I like to use in my recipes, but you could use cane sugar or coconut sugar, whatever type of sweetener you like. But I personally love stevia because it is all natural and it doesn't affect your blood sugar. And I actually grow it in my herb garden at home, so it's completely natural. It's just like, you know, basil or parsley, and it's really sweet. So it's good to add to recipes. And then a little pinch of salt. And then for our wet ingredients, and I'm just doing this all in one bowl, we'll add 3 tablespoons of Greek yogurt. And Greek yogurt is a great ingredient to add to any baked good because it adds a lot of moisture without it adding a lot of fat. So or calories. Say, you know, you take the oil out of a recipe, you could add Greek yogurt instead. And so I'm going to stir this up. And then our last ingredient is just 1 tablespoon of honey. And it kind of comes together, as you can see, where it kind of makes almost like a cookie dough mixture. So we'll add the honey, and that'll be our last ingredient. And I love using honey as a sweetener as well. You do have to think about when you're using a recipe about how the wet and the dry ingredients kind of can't be interchanged. So for example, this honey is a wet ingredient. So you couldn't add honey where there's dry sugar because it wouldn't turn out. Baking is like a science, so you have to kind of measure out your wet and your dry pretty precisely. And as you can see, it's coming together. And then the last ingredient, and this is optional, is chocolate chips. And I just add a few, and it really makes it, you know, taste like a cookie, a breakfast cookie. So once you get that all together, you just kind of form it onto a plate, and you can spray the plate ahead of time with some cooking spray. And when you do that, we'll just kind of form it into a cookie here. So once you form it into a cookie, and you can even roll it in your hands a little bit or use your fingers, because I like to get messy in the kitchen. I don't like to, you know, just be proper with a spoon. I like to actually get my hands into it. Then you can add some chocolate chips on top. And as you can see right over here, you just pop it into the microwave for 1 minute. It looks just like this. So there is your breakfast cookie. And what I love about it is it only takes a minute in the microwave. So like I said, you can actually make this ahead of time, put some saran wrap over it, pop it in the microwave, and there you go. You have a breakfast cookie in the morning. So our next recipe I'm going to show you guys is a coffee creamer. And coffee creamer is one of those things that everybody wants to know how to make healthier. So this is a really simple recipe, and you can actually make it 2 weeks ahead of time, and it just stays good in your fridge. So I'm going to add 1 cup of almond milk. And you could use skim milk or any kind of milk that you like. I like using almond milk because it's 30 calories per cup. And then I have some evaporated milk, and that's just 1 can of fat-free evaporated milk. And it gives it that creaminess that you want with the coffee creamer. And then just about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to add a little bit of stevia to this for a little sweetener. I added about a tablespoon there. And then just stir it together. And what I love about this recipe is you can actually make it however you want it, specific to what you like in your coffee. So instead of vanilla extract, you could do maple extract, you could do different spices, so you could do pumpkin pie spice or anything that you would like in order to give this your own flavor and variation. So for example, I love to do a little bit of peppermint extract in the winter time around Christmas, and I have a peppermint coffee creamer. So then you can just pour it into a little dish, or you could put it into a mason jar, a sealed container in your fridge for about 2 weeks, and add it to your coffee in the morning. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys, and that it gave you some good ideas to start your day. You can get any of these recipes on ctvn.org. I'll see you guys again soon.